The man was horrified to find himself trapped in a never-ending, looped subway. Every time he approached a turn, the same uncle in a suit and boots appeared at the exact moment. Gathering his courage, he asked for directions, but suddenly, a cold shiver ran through his body. Terrified by this strange sight, Miyata quickly turned around and ran. Before he could even catch his breath, his eyes fell on a board on the wall. Exit 0 was clearly written on it, but above, a flashing sign displayed Exit 8. Closing his eyes, Miyata ran forward again and again, yet each time, he ended up right back under the same board. Was this what people called a haunted circle? The strange signs were making him restless. The path felt more and more mysterious. The next moment, the man in the suit appeared again. Miyata tried to control his fear and pressed the emergency call button, but all the doors were sealed shut, so tight that not even a small crack was visible. To make things worse, his phone had lost its signal. Panicked, Miyata stomped his feet in frustration. That's when he noticed a poster on the wall, ants crawling endlessly on a Mobius ring, with no end in sight. Suddenly, red liquid began leaking from the wall. Miyata spun around in fear, only to see the same mysterious man standing there, casually busy on his phone, as if nothing unusual had happened. Then Miyata noticed the board had changed. Where it once said 0, now it displayed 1. Below it, a warning read, "Pay attention to the abnormality. If you see an abnormality, turn back immediately. If there is no abnormality, do not turn back and head for Exit 8. Miyata suddenly realized the red liquid was the abnormality. If he hadn't run back in fear, he would have failed the first test. Somehow, through confusion and luck, he crossed the first level and reached Exit 1. The red liquid had vanished completely. Gathering his courage, Miyata continued forward. But to his shock, when he reached the end, the signboard displayed 0 again. He finally understood this entire place was like a game with strict rules. Missing any abnormality or breaking the pattern reset everything back to 0. Determined, Miyata took out his phone and began snapping photos of every unusual thing he saw, including the man in the professional suit. This time, when he reached the end, the board read 1. No abnormalities this round. His confidence grew. He only needed to cross 7 more levels to escape this cursed station. But when he checked his phone, all the photos had turned into strange, yellow, jumbled letters. Now he had to rely solely on memory. Suddenly, the man in the suit stopped walking. Miyata instantly recognized this as the abnormality. Just as he was about to turn back, the man charged at him, wearing a terrifying grin. Miyata's hair stood on end, and his legs moved on instinct. He sprinted the other way, but panic made him stumble, crashing hard onto the floor. When he got up, the man stopped again, busy with his phone. The board changed to 2. Crossing 2 levels back-to-back gave Miyata courage. He ran ahead, memorizing everything around him. Soon, he reached a turn where he heard the cry of a baby coming from a locker. With trembling hands, he slowly opened it, and what he saw inside sent a chill down his spine. Horrified, Miyata ran back immediately. The board now read 3. 5 more levels left. Returning to the corridor, he scanned everything carefully. Yet, a strange uneasiness grew in him, as though someone was watching his every move. Suddenly, he saw the eyes in a painting on the wall moving. Shocked, he turned and ran back again. The signboard now showed 4. Half the game was over. Victory felt close, but he knew he had to stay alert. One mistake, and it was over. Before entering the next level, his phone rang. It was his ex-girlfriend. After a moment of hesitation, he answered. They had recently broken up, but now she had discovered she was pregnant. She wanted Miyata's opinion. Should they keep the child or not? Hearing this, Miyata's heart grew heavy. Miyata suddenly remembered an incident from a few days ago. In the metro, he had seen a thug shouting at a woman carrying a child. Back then, he hadn't found the courage to intervene. Maybe that was why he felt he wasn't ready to become a father. Confused thoughts filled his mind, making everything feel heavier. He disconnected the call, but at that very moment, the number on the signboard turned back to 0. The call from his ex-girlfriend was actually the abnormality because there was no phone signal in the tunnel. All his progress vanished in a single moment. Frustrated and broken, Miyata walked forward like a lifeless body. Strangely, this time no abnormalities appeared along the way, and he reached the next stage without trouble. But then, a little boy appeared in front of him. Thinking the boy was an abnormality, Miyata immediately turned back. The signboard changed to 0 again. He realized the boy wasn't an abnormality after all. The boy began following him silently, running ahead and pointing toward the man in the professional suit, who Miyata had seen many times before. Miyata then understood this man was also a player trapped in the tunnel. The difference was that he and the boy had been playing as a team from the start. At every corner, they encountered a girl. After bumping into each other several times, the girl finally spoke to them. But while the man desperately wanted to escape, the girl revealed she had no wish to leave. She said the daily grind of taking the metro to work felt meaningless, so staying in this tunnel seemed better. But soon, her words started repeating over and over, her voice trembling unnaturally. The man realized this was an abnormality. He grabbed the boy's hand, and they both ran. They reached signboard number 6, and their progress seemed strong. Then they met the same girl again, but now she had become just part of the background. At the same time, the boy noticed something wrong with a door handle, but the man ignored him and dragged him forward. That mistake reset the board to 0 again. Crushed, the man screamed in frustration, but eventually pulled himself together and continued forward with the boy. Suddenly, they found a staircase door. Overjoyed, the man thought he had finally found the real exit. But the boy insisted this was also an abnormality. The man, now half-mad with desperation, refused to listen and ran toward the stairs. The boy stopped and turned back. The board changed from 0 to 1. The boy had been right. The man had misjudged, got trapped in the endless tunnel forever, and gradually became part of the background himself. The camera then shifted to Miyata. He saw the boy standing alone, unable to even speak properly. Miyata felt sorry for him and offered to team up. Soon, he realized the boy had a rare gift. He could spot even the tiniest abnormality instantly. Together, they cleared the 3rd stage easily. Then the lights flickered and went out. In the darkness, Miyata heard rats squeaking and children crying. The atmosphere turned terrifying. He switched on his torch and froze. Gigantic rats with human limbs were staring at them. Terrified, Miyata grabbed the boy's hand and ran back. Suddenly, everything returned to normal, and they reached the next stage safely. This time, they encountered a woman. The boy cried out, "Mother!" The woman fainted with emotion. Miyata quickly pulled her back, and they cleared another stage. But Miyata felt no joy. He suspected the boy had been abandoned by his mother and was desperately trying to find his way back to her. The thought shook Miyata deeply. He held the boy's hand tightly, determined to protect him. As they moved forward, the boy pointed upward. The number 8 signboard was hanging upside down. Even such a tiny abnormality didn't escape the boy's eyes. Miyata realized the child was truly special. Together, they soon reached signboard number 6. 2 more steps, and they would be free. Suddenly, a loud alarm blared. A massive flood of mud and water surged toward them. Miyata turned back, running for his life, but the boy slipped and fell. The next moment, both were swallowed by the raging flood. Half-conscious, Miyata saw himself on a deserted beach. His ex-girlfriend was now his wife, and the boy from the metro was their son. He realized that fatherhood wasn't a burden, it was a profound, meaningful experience. Then a sharp pain snapped him back to reality. Miyata used all his strength to lift the boy above the rushing water, sacrificing himself as he was swept away. Time passed. The boy awoke alone and walked toward the road. The signboard now displayed 7, his final challenge. With determined steps, he crossed the turn and vanished, returning to the real world. Moments later, Miyata's shadow appeared. He inspected everything carefully. When he was sure nothing was abnormal, he stepped forward. The number 8 path seemed normal, yet he moved cautiously, unsure if it was a trap. Then, he saw pedestrians rushing past, and relief washed over him. He had finally escaped the parallel world. Taking out his phone, he called his ex-girlfriend. After everything he had endured, Miyata now understood. He was no longer afraid of responsibility. He was ready to become a father. Back inside the crowded metro, everything looked familiar. A man shouted angrily as a child cried. The passengers, lost in their phones, ignored everything. Miyata's heart skipped a beat. Had the cycle started again? Should he step in this time? This was the story of Exit Number 8, a film adapted from a popular game, but made far deeper and symbolic. It's not just about escaping a deadly puzzle. It reflects the protagonist's mental labyrinth, his confusion, anxiety, and fear of losing freedom to a monotonous life. The news Miyata saw at the beginning mirrored the strange events inside the tunnel. Even the man in the suit symbolized his inner fears of responsibility, fatherhood, and ordinary life. But after facing endless challenges, Miyata overcame his fear, embraced responsibility, and was willing to sacrifice himself for the child. In the end, that very responsibility became his strength, breaking the mental chains that had trapped him all along. So that's it. Hope you enjoy the story. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more videos.